You're watching MBTA TV, brought to you by SkyTeam.
Hi, it's Stuart Verdery here with MBTA. I'm here with Paul Morris, Executive Director, Admissibility and Passenger Programs at U.S. Customs and Border Protection in the Department of Homeland Security. Paul, thanks for taking time with us today. We know how busy your job is of being responsible for all of the incoming passengers coming into the United States. We wanted to talk to you today about the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative, affectionately known as Whti. Can you give us a sense as to why our membership would care about Whti, one of CBP's big priorities?
The Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative, or Whti as we call it, is a change in policy for travel documents required for coming into the United States from within the Western Hemisphere. In January of 2007, we changed the documentary requirements for travel by air into the U.S. So at that time, we required that passports or other authorized documents were required to come from Canada, Mexico, Bermuda, and the Caribbean. In January of 2008, we started extending that requirement also to our land borders and our seaports. So on January of this year, we eliminated the ability of individuals to simply state their nationality as they entered at a land border port of entry. In June of 2009, we were going to basically complete the transition, and at that time, a passport or other Whti authorized document will be required before we allow admission to the United States.
MBTA has chapters around the world, and our members are multinational companies. Can you give us a sense as to which countries we're talking about that are going to be most affected by the new Whti requirements?
The Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative, Whti, applies to Canada, Mexico, Bermuda, and the Caribbean, where previously there were exceptions to the documentary requirements that would normally be required in any kind of an international travel setting.
We've heard CBP talk about how Whti is going to bring a revolution to the border. Can you give us a list or a sense of which of these new travel documents that we're talking about?
We're basically talking about a group of documents that establish both citizenship and identity. So these would be, for example, the passport and the passport card that are both issued by Department of State for United States citizens. It can also be an enhanced driver's license issued by one of several different states and Canadian provinces that again establish citizenship as well as identity. And there are some additional documents also that are authorized, such as the permanent resident card issued by the Department of Homeland Security. A full list of those documents is available on our website, and I would certainly suggest that anyone that is unsure whether or not their document qualifies visit there.
Do these requirements affect any other countries other than the ones you mentioned?
It does not change the requirements for other travelers. We have had in place documentary requirements that required, for instance, a passport and a visa for travelers that are not United States citizens coming to the U.S. and have had for a long time the requirement that a passport was required for our own citizens traveling from outside of the Western Hemisphere. So it's very specific to just a change to the Western Hemisphere travel coming to the U.S.
We appreciate the fact that CBP is trying to get the word out early, but we know come next June there's going to be some people who haven't gotten the word both in the U.S. and Canada. What's going to happen to them if they show up at a port of entry without an approved document?
First of all, we're going to try to do everything we can to get out the word so that individuals have every opportunity to obtain the documents that are required prior to that date. We have a significant outreach campaign, some handouts that we give out at the ports of entry, some media, some press releases, and hopefully everyone will have those documents in place. But we know that that won't necessarily happen, and we'll address those kinds of situations when they occur at the ports of entry.
You mentioned RFID, radio frequency technology. What is that going to do for the traveling public? How is it going to make things easier to get back and forth across the U.S. border?
Part of the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative is also to install technology at our ports of entry which will significantly speed the processing and better identify individuals as they arrive at our land border ports of entry. That includes the RFID technology, the radio frequency technology that's built into many of the travel documents, which will help us positively identify individuals in a much more expeditious manner and relieve many of the congestion issues that we currently have at our ports of entry.
Paul, thanks so much for your time to educate us a little